I've been trying to figure out a way to start this without making it awkward for the past 20 minutes, and I haven't succeeded. So we're just going to start. All right. So my name is Siobhan. I'm 25. I live in the United States. I read a lot. I've run a book blog called Ghost Shark Reads for about 2 years now. It wasn't always called that, but it's a recent development. But you're watching my new channel, so that's exciting. Um, this is so awkward. I have no idea what I'm doing. We're just going to go for it. This week is the Reading Rush. It's a week-long read-along, readathon, hosted by Ariel Bassett and Raylene. They have a podcast that I really like called Books Unbound, which you should check out. But they host the Reading Rush every year. Everyone has heard of it. I am late to the party. That being said, I'm really excited about it. So I decided, what the heck? I've done reviews on my blog every Fridays for 2 years now, I think, maybe three almost. And really wanted to branch out into reading blogs specifically. So I decided that I would give it a shot. I have the shoddiest setup ever, filming on my phone. I've got my AirPod recording audio to my computer because the air conditioner is super loud and you can probably hear it. I have my cat judging me from above, and I made my partner go into the other room and put headphones on so he can't hear me. Enough about that. We're going to start to look at what stuff I'm going to be reading during the reading rush. Hopefully by the end of this, I get so much better than this, because holy hell, is this awkward. Or is it just me? It's not just me. This is awkward. Anyway, book number 1, Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This is Riley Sager's 4th book. I have read his other 3. This fits a couple of the prompts, namely I lied, it doesn't fit a couple of the prompts for me. It only fits the first prompt, which is read a book with a cover that matches your birthstone. I was born in August, so my birthstone is Peridot? Peridot? I had to look it up and I don't know how to pronounce it. But it's like this light greenish yellow color, which is this book. This is a gothic, takes place in like a haunted house type thing. I'm really excited to read it. Like I said before, I think they're behind me, but I've read Riley Sager's other 3 books, and enjoyed those. They're fine. They're thrillers. So I got this one in the mail, and I'm excited to try it out. So that's going to be one of my picks. The next pick that I have is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. How much about how crazy I am do I want to reveal in the first video that I'm making? Not a lot. Grady Hendrix is my current favorite author. I really love his work. I guess this also kind of matches my birthstone. I didn't even notice that. Weird. Anyway, this is a horror novel set in the South. I think it's South Carolina, North Carolina, one of the Carolinas. I don't remember. But it is set in the South during the early 90s. It is kind of it's not exactly a sequel to My Best Friend's Exorcism, but it is like a companion novel to. It takes place in a similar area after the events of My Best Friend's Exorcism. I realized that if you don't know anything about these books, that whole sentence sounded really crazy. But this fits a couple of the prompts for me. This fits read a book that starts with the word the, and this was the first book that I touched. I had my partner pick from the 3 that I'm going to be reading, and that was the one that I touched. That was how I did that part of the challenge. So I'm really excited about this. I'm filming this like near 7 p.m. on Monday. So I've already read this at this point. I'll talk a little bit more about it soon, but I just want to go through what I'm reading first. This one. And then the third book that I have actually fits for the rest of the challenges there. So this is a book that inspired a movie you've already seen. This is the one that I'm going to read completely outside my house because I'm going to be reading it while I'm at work on my lunch breaks. This is the book that it's in a genre that I've always wanted to read more of, and it takes place on a different continent than me since it takes place in the UK, and that is V for Vendetta by Alan Moore and David Lloyd. Fun fact, it also has my name on the cover. Not like my name, but like someone named Siobhan, which is interesting. I don't usually see that. I really like the movie V for Vendetta. I've seen it a bunch of times. I just really like Hugo Weaving. I've had this on my shelf for an embarrassingly long amount of time. I want to say going on like 8 or 9 years now. And this was one of the only books that I had that was a movie where I've seen the movie and haven't read the book yet. So I decided that this would be a really good pick. It's a graphic novel. It's not that long. It fits so many of the challenges. I think it's like 288 pages. I'm not worried about spoilers since I've seen the movie. But I'm very excited about this. One of the challenges that I made myself on my blog was I wanted to read the 5 oldest books that are on my Goodreads TBR. This is one of them. So I read Watchmen earlier this year, which was another one of them, another book by Alan Moore, which I really enjoyed. So this is my pick for that. Very excited. I can like hold it in front of my face and then I become Guy Fawkes. What's wrong with me? And then I have 2 kind of like additional books on my TBR. I just realized this. I have a bookmark in it. The first one is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This can fit a couple of the challenges as well. This fits the starting with the. It also fits the genre that I want to read more. So if I get through these first 3, then I can add a couple additional ones to my TBR. This is the 4th one that I would probably pick up. This book is extremely popular right now, and actually my book club at work is reading this. So I definitely wanted to get to it. So I'm going to be reading this, I think, this month regardless, but I'm hoping to get to it this week. So this month, very excited about. And then the last book I don't have a physical copy of, it's called The Glass Blowers by, this is where I'm going to show how embarrassing it is that I can't pronounce things properly, Daphne Denior. I can read French, I promise. I can't pronounce French. This is the author of Rebecca, which is one of the most popular kind of gothic novels. It's a really interesting, I'm trying to describe what it is. So it's not exactly nonfiction, but it's not exactly historical fiction. It's like a combination of both. It is the story of her family, but it's like written in kind of this like novel / epistolary format, which is really interesting. So one of my online book clubs, Books and Tea, had one of their prompts for the month was read a book set during the French Revolution, which this is. It also fits the Reading Rush challenge of reading a book that starts with the and a book that's set in a different continent, set in France. So I'm really excited about that one. Again, I'm going to read that one this month regardless. It just depends on whether or not I'm going to get to it during the Reading Rush. And I don't know the answer to that, so we're going to have to see. All right, that takes care of my TBR. This whole thing is a disjointed disaster. But, like I mentioned before, it is about 7 o'clock on Monday. So what that means is I've already finished a book. I actually read this one earlier today. So I both started and finished The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. Let me go into my background with Grady Hendrix for a moment. Okay, so 2 or 3 years ago, I was going through Barnes & Noble, because that's like one of the only bookstores in my town, and they have a little section that's like staff picks, and I like going through there and like seeing what the staff is reading. They're super nice there. So I was going through and seeing what they had been reading, and one of them that usually kind of aligns, like their tastes usually align with mine, she had read this book called My Best Friend's Exorcism. The front sold me pretty much immediately because, number one, it looks like a VHS tape, which I absolutely love. It's got like the Be Kind Rewind stickers. It's super like floppy, which I love. And it just like has good like book feel, if that makes sense. But the front of it is pitched as if The Exorcist had been authored by Tina Fey instead of William Peter Blatty. It might have borne an uncanny resemblance to what Grady Hendrix has accomplished with My Best Friend's Exorcism. I had never heard of this author. I was kind of branching out into the horror genre, but wasn't really sure what I liked. And I discovered this book, and I absolutely loved it. And I fell in love with Grady Hendrix's writing. I fell in love with kind of horror and modern horror as a genre, separate from like thrillers and everything. So I absolutely loved this. So then I decided to pick up some of Grady Hendrix's other books. I read Horror Store. I'm reaching behind me because they're all right there. Okay, so then I decided to go through and read some of Grady Hendrix's other books. I'm looking for it because I have like stacks around me now. And the next one that I read was actually Horror Store, which is designed to look like an IKEA catalog, kind of. I absolutely love this one. This one is my favorite. So I decided that I was going to read everything that Grady Hendrix ever wrote. So I read this. Shortly thereafter, he had another book come out, which is We Sold Our Souls. That's this one here. Another really good floppy book with like good book feel. I actually think, yeah, this one is signed. This is Rock On by Grady Hendrix. Yay! Very exciting. This one's about like a rock band that sells their soul to the devil. So this one was great. I read this one last year and really loved it. This year I branched into a little bit of his nonfiction, so I read Paperbacks from Hell, which is his book about the 70s and 80s horror pulp fiction, because I'm just like obsessed with that genre and like the satanic panic stuff. There's some really like, I'm trying to find like a cover that's not super gross. Let's see if I can find one. Oh yeah, so it has like images of like really popular books, and then it has like a lot about them on the other side. And I've absolutely loved going through this. I read that earlier this year. But Grady Hendrix came out with another. I'm like reaching for it behind me. This is so awkward. He came out with another book this year called The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, which I read this morning. I actually got an ARC from this from Quirk Books when I was at Comic-Con. But I am really weird about ARCs and that I don't like reading them. I'm always afraid that like I'm gonna read it and then it's gonna change drastically by the time the final release comes out. And because he's my favorite author, I was like, I can't read this. I have to wait. So I did. And I waited until the real version came out. Real version. The wide release of it, I guess, came out. And even still, I kind of put it off and didn't read it. And then decided that the reading rush was a perfect time. So this book follows Patricia Campbell, and Patricia Campbell is a housewife. She's got 2 kids. She's got a husband who's a doctor. A lot going on in her life, and this weird guy kind of moves to town, and everything starts to kind of unravel and fall apart. I really loved this book. I don't plan on doing a lot of reviews on this channel. I'm probably going to keep my reviews to my website, so I'll link down below for that. Or you can just go to siobhan.xyz. It's very easy to remember. But it's not easy to spell, though, I guess. But this book is fantastic. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. This is the second Grady Hendrix novel to get 5 out of 5 stars for me. I didn't like it more than Horror Store. Horror Store, I think, just like hit me on a personal level with like what this one is kind of about. Like, yes, it's about like this monster and this like haunted IKEA on the surface, which kind of sounds ridiculous. But underneath that, it's about like so much more than that. And I just absolutely adored this book. So that one's really, really special to me. But this was like a close second. This was so good, and I absolutely loved it. So I highly recommend, if you're new to Grady Hendrix, I think that this would be a really great entry point. I also think that if you're like around my age, like maybe you're like in that post-college, but like pre-kids phase, if that's like where you are in life, then this might be a really good one for you too. This is a fantastic book. I will recommend this every day of my life. So, yeah, I think that is my update for now. I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to say. My plan for the rest of the week is to read V for Vendetta, like I said, while I'm at work on lunch, because this is going to be the one I read outside of my house. I'm working 5 shifts between now and the end of the reading rush, so I should definitely be able to finish this during that. Yeah. My plan for the rest of the night is I'm going to start Home Before Dark. And get this going. I don't know how long this one is. 400? 384. So I'll get this one started. This one's like thrillery, so it should go pretty quick. And then if I finish this Home Before Dark, then I can start The Vanishing Half, which is really exciting. So there's that. I don't know what else to say. The start was so awkward, now the end is so awkward. I guess you can follow me on things. I'll leave links to my Bookstagram that I haven't used in a year and a half down below, as well as like the link to my website, which is where the majority of my content goes. I post every Monday and Friday there, so you can always follow me there. I have no idea how often these are going to go up, if they even go up at all. If you're seeing this, hi mom. That's all I've got, really. I'm excited to try this. This is going to be fun. It'll be good to push myself outside of my comfort zone and practice editing again. Yeah, I think that's it. Do I want some kind of like dramatic shark noise as an outro? Maybe. But also maybe not.